Check this out. Sometime in life, we don't really get what we want because we don't go after it aggressively enough. Like, we don't want to offend anybody. We don't want to annoy anybody. We don't want to bother anybody. But the truth is, people, number one, they don't owe you anything. They really don't owe you anything. So until you learn to really go after it, sometimes you can't get what you want. I'll give you a story. My favorite movie of all time, ironically, is a basketball movie because I love basketball. Right? The movie is called Glory Road. It is the story of the 1966 Texas Western College basketball team. Nowadays, they go by UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso. This was a true story of a coach named Don Haskins trying to build a basketball program. He didn't care anything about the color of their skin. God rest that man's soul. He passed away in 2008. At that time, most collegiate teams had all white players, especially like major schools, Kentucky, Kansas, colleges like that. If they had any black players, it was like one or two, right? Most of the time, one. Don Haskins was like, I could give a damn what color they are. I'm trying to build a sports program. So he ended up recruiting 7 black players and only 5 white guys. So first of all, people were losing their mind because they're like, why would he do this? All these Negroes, they're not smart enough. They can jump, they're athletic, but that's it. So he was catching all kind of flack, right? He had a player on his team named Neville Shedd. According to the movie, which could be true or not, sometimes movies over-dramatize things to sell you entertainment, tug on your heartstrings. But I'm choosing to believe it was true because there's always a player like this. I coach basketball. I just finished the season as an assistant coach. My team went 13-4, and there are players on my team that I felt like I had to constantly motivate. They were a little nervous. According to the movie, Neville Shedd's character, he's a bigger man on that team. Players were a little shorter back then on average, like 6'3", 6'4". Neville Shedd was a big man, but he didn't play like it. And so the coach eventually told him, hey, look, the season hasn't started yet. I can't use a player like you who is scared to be physical when you're big. Boom. And he literally walks into his room and gives him a bus ticket to send him back home. Neville Shedd's jaw hits the ground like, are you serious? I can never look my father in the face if I go home and I'm no longer a college basketball player. Coach, please, you can't send me home. And he's like, I can't use you. Sorry. So he reminisces, sits in the gym. He thinks about everything. And he goes back to practice and he tells the coach, hey, coach, I want to play. And the coach is like, what are you doing here? I gave you a bus ticket. I can't use you. Go ahead and take your ticket and go home. And he says to coach, he says, come on, coach, let me play, please. And he's like, I can't use you. You're not the kind of big man I need. I need you to be tough. Neville Shedd doesn't want to disappoint his father, and he wants to make the team bad enough, but he hadn't showed that animal yet. At that moment, he looked at the coach in the movie, and he went, let me play. And for the first time, the coach was like, so they put him on the court, and he makes the team. Now, just imagine if he had already showed up with the let me play energy. He would have never even had to worry about being sent home. And I think sometime when we're trying to get where we want to go, we show up like, it would be nice if you let me in, instead of let me play. Where's your let me play energy? I know I haven't always had the let me play energy. You need let me play. This is not, hey, it would be nice, it's cool. No, let me play. I'm telling you now, it's 2025. If you're like me, you've been saying next year's the year, this year's the year for like 10 years. It's time that you say, let me play to yourself in the mirror, first of all, and go out here and really show people why you deserve to be who you're telling them you deserve to be.